All right, welcome to a very special addition to our course content, fundamentals of machine prompt engineering. This is a comprehensive guide, to crafting effective AI prompts. We've done a little introduction into this under the copywriting, and we feel it's necessary for us to actually take the prompt, engineering itself out, so that we can actually focus on this act properly. If we can focus on this, we'll be able to do more justice to it, and it will reflect on our overall productivity using copywriting anyway. So I want you to focus more on the practical aspect, which I will soon get to, but let's also lay a very solid foundation from here, so that everybody can actually you can learn everything all from here, and you'll be able to hit the ground running almost immediately. So let's go ahead and introduce ourselves to what all of this is. First, we would like to look at the definition of the prompt engineering in itself. We stand as crafting input to guide AI response, or we can even call it, like we have defined it before, as the art and science of crafting input, which is the prompt in itself, to guide AI systems towards our desired output. We are also, this a science that also deals with bridging human intent with machine understanding. If you can, what it means simply is, if you can actually craft your input, that is your prompt, if you can capture it properly, definitely you can guarantee that what you are going to have as a response from the AI is going to be exactly, or at least, or at most, almost to what you are looking for. So what is the significance of this? The reason why we are doing this is actually to enhance AI efficiency, and at the same time its accuracy. Now understand that the critical, this is actually I want you to understand that this is actually critical for us to receive a reliable and accurate and ethical, and establish ethical AI use. So that's the significance of what we are doing. It's critical for reliability, it's critical for accuracy, and at the same time, all that we are trying to do is to do what is to ensure ethical use of AI. That's the significance of it. Other things that we can point to under the significance is the fact that we want to reduce guesswork for AI. We are trying to save time and resources. But I have this approach, and that's the approach I am going to give to us during our practical, so that we won't have to waste too much time whenever we are doing whatever we are trying to do. What is the real life application? Like you already know, we've treated this during copywriting, but expanded. For content creation, you want to do content creation, you need this skill that I'm about to teach you. You want to write things like SEO, search engine optimization articles, as in articles that comply with search engine optimization, or you want to do hard copy, or you want to even do storytelling. That's under content creation. What about coding? For those of you that probably you want to do coding, in terms of debugging, this prompt engineering is very important. You even want to generate code, you need this skill for you to be able to do that. In fact, without lifting or probably having a prior knowledge of coding, you can actually do all of this that I'm talking about. Another thing under it is that probably you want to do automation, and automation talks about data extraction, customer service, in terms of using chatbot to respond to customer directly, probably on your website, on your phone, even in your chatbot, chat box itself. So that's for automation. And another part to it is for research purpose and education. Maybe you want to do a personalized tutoring, or you want to do what is called interactive learning. That is what these are part of the real world application of what we are about to do. So let's look at some of the things and that we can look at it. We have a hook. A well crafted prompt is like a GPS for AI. I know you understand what GPS means. It defines the destination and the best route to get there. That's what GPS does anyway. When you use GPS, you are trying to locate a place, or you are trying to get to a destination. So this act enable you to do what? To craft craft a well-defined prompt that acts like a GPS for your AI. And like I said before, it defines the destination and the best way to get to that destination. That is what this skill will definitely give to you. So let's look at the core principles of prompt engineering. I want you to understand that number one, how does AI actually interpret prompts? AI actually interpret language based on training data. So number one, there's what is called tokenization, word to neural vector, context window. That's another way in which so in other words, what it means is that a structured prompt improve response accuracy. That is what we are talking about there. There is what is called predictive logics, and that predictive logics talks about, look at it. It talks about logics. Talks about logic. That is, I want to use the proper word. It is called next token, probability based on training data. So you have already trained, your AI on what to do. Look at the key, techniques. There's what is called clarity. There's what is called context. We call, constraints and instructions. We'll get there very soon. So let us look at prompt structure. What is prompt structure? The first thing we need to understand is that there is need for us to task your AI, right? Just like when you are saying you have a clear objectives of what you want to do. That's the way to structure a prompt. So for example, write a poem about resilience. That is a clear objective. You are writing a poem that try to address resilience. Then another factor is context. That is the background info. What is the background info? For example, in the style of Maya Angelou. I know you know who Maya Angelou is. So he's a writer and he has a style of writing. So basically what you are trying to do is you are giving your AI a context to which it should respond to your prompt. Example is few short demonstrations, something like that. What about constraint? You are talking about the format in which you want your response to come up with, format, the tone, and probably you can specify the length. So what are the optimization techniques that okay, we have talked about. Okay, have we talked about the type of prompt? No, we've not talked about that type of prompt. So optimization techniques, we talk about clarity. That means to avoid ambiguity. The other part is you need to be what we call this specificity. In other words, you need to be specific. We want to instruct your AI, write a 300-word blog. Write a blog is general, but write a 300-word blog is what is specific. Delimiters. So you can use signs to separate instructions from input. So like for example, you are quoting, you will see what I'm going to do. By the time we get to the writing proper, you see what I'm going to do. So analog, the other part is, okay, let's look at the analog now. You say prompting AI, is like coaching a star athlete. Clear instruction will always yield peak performance. That is what I want us to understand. Let's move to the next one, which is the type of prompts. We have zero shots type, which is general instruction without example. Explain quantum computing to a 5-year-old. That is a general instruction without example. You can see that is zero shot. We have the one that is called few shot. So no prior example for zero shot, and few shot means that you are providing example for guidance. So let us look at it. Include example to guide output. For example, translate hello to Spanish. Clear, straightforward with example. An example is dog to what? To perro. Something like that. So you are giving what? You are giving a guide for, to guide the output you are expecting from the prompt. Other part of it is chain of thought. So they call it COT. Chain of thought. You request step-by-step reasoning. So solve 12 multiplied by 4. That is another one. You encourage reasoning. That is what you are doing with it. So I'm using something like solve 12 multiplied by 4. You now say first break it into 20 multiplied by 4 plus 5 multiplied by 4. At the end of the day, you are still going to get the same result, but you are breaking it into what? Into steps. That's what you are trying to do. So anytime you are requesting step-by-step reasoning from AI, you are using what is called COT, chain of thought. That is what you are using. The other part is role-based, assigning a persona. Persona is just a fancy word for personality. So you are saying something like act as a historian analyzing the fall of Rome. You can see act as a what? Historian analyzing, and it's going to take the role, the persona of an historian, to do what? To give you the results that you want. Advanced strategies. I'm trying to move so that we won't waste too much of time on this. I think we've done a pre-introduction under copywriting. So advanced strategies. You are using a multi-tune approach, which means the first consistency is what you are using. Multiple reasoning paths. So vote best answer. You are using that. We are talking about tree of thought. You are exploring a parallel reasoning branches. So basically what you are doing at that level is you follow up on, probably you will see it when I start my exercise. I'm going to give us probably 2-3 exercise, and you see how beautiful the result will come out, and you will understand what I'm talking about. So I'm going to give you my own part of it. So let's talk about prompt optimization techniques. Iteration refinement. That's the first thing that you want to do. You want to refine your prompt before you even do what? Before you execute. So iterative refinement talks about you do a draft, you do a test, you analyze, then you revise. So that is the idea. You do a draft, test it out, analyze it, and revise it. I'm going to give us the best of techniques I am using to get that one done. Can you see? So test before and improve on your prompt. Now example it. Start with write a story, then add gen to it, and you continue with character, conflict, and it continues in that order. That's the way to use the iterative techniques to optimize your prompt. Let's look at the other one, which is text control. Reset context to avoid drift in multi-tone conversation. That's what you are doing. You are providing structured input to guide your conversation with the AI. That is what you are trying to do. Another technique is what's it called? We call it precision engineering. You are now using verbs to describe what you are looking for. For example, breaking it down. You are breaking it down into queries: summarize, compare, critique. So that is what you are using. Then the structure part, use a verb. That we are talking about, precision engineering. Now you're using a verb, and I talk about summarize, compare, critique. And the other part is what you are trying to also make a structure out of it. For example, answer in 3 bullet points. Use scientific terms. These are structure that you want to put in place to actually create a precision to your prompt optimization, and that way you are certain that you're going to get a very reasonable answer. There is a part that is called hyperparameters. The hyperparameter means that you are trying to infuse at this level. You are trying to manage AI parameters to suit what you want to get. Talking about temperature, talking about tokens, or basically something like adjust temperature. Can you see that? creativity, that's creativity versus focus, and max token. You can see these are giving parameters. You are giving parameters to your, what's it called, to the AI, so that it can maintain it can maintain the tone of your expected result. That's all we are. So let's look at let me just drop a pro tips at this point. Look at what I'm talking about in terms of, you can say something like treat prompt. You are treating prompt like Lego blocks. You know, when we're growing up, you know how we play with Lego to build, you know, structure. You are combining task with context, giving your AI constraints, and, you know, introducing what is called modularity. Modularity. In other words, you combine tasks. That's what you are doing, giving your AI tasks, and at the same time you are giving it context on which the task must be done, and you are also, you know, narrow it down by giving constraints on how you want it to, you know, get it done in a modular way, so that it won't get out of it. It's an interesting thing. It looks somehow, but by the time we start practicing it, you understand what I'm talking about. That's why I don't want to stay too long on this, so that you won't get bored. I want you to, you know, get straight to where the practical is. So let us use a case study and a practical example. Look at what we are talking about. We're talking about content generation, writing structured blog posts. You can create that, you know, start thinking about that. I'm not really going to, you know, bother myself too much about it. I talk about coding and automation, crafting, you know, precise instruction. You know, when you are doing coding, this one, it's a bit advanced because you don't want the coding to actually misbehave, because the moment it comes up, it comes up. So write Python code for a calculator, you can do that. That one is weak anyway. That when you say write Python code for a calculator, is very weak. But by the time you come to something like create a Python function with error handling that takes two numbers and an operators, so two numbers and an operator like plus, minus, multiplication, division, and return result or value error. So basically what you are trying to do is you are creating a code that receives two value, and that two value is being operated on by what? By an operator, which can either be what? Plus, minus, multiplication or division, and return a result, or probably return an error. That is more stronger than just saying write Python code for a calculator. It's weak, but that doesn't mean this guy cannot. But at the end of the day, there is a way to also fine-tune that one and make it strong, step by step. We'll get there very soon. That's for coding. Automation talks about extract dates from this text. Probably you have a very, you know, lengthy text, and you want AI to extract date out of the text, but that is weak anyway. But you can make it stronger by saying identify dates in so formats from the email below, output as another format. We can get there later if we have all the time, but I'm not even bothered about the, what's it called, I'm not bothered about all of this example. I'm bothered about how you can use all of this combined together, and always use it repeatedly. You iterate it wherever you want to, and I'm going to make an example. We are going there very soon. So number one, whenever you are, you know, constructing your prompt engineering, what are the common pitfalls and the best practices you should, you know, look out for? The first thing is that you need to avoid what is called ambiguity. Help me with the project. Which project? It's ambiguous. The other thing is that you need to manage token limitations. In other words, token overflow. That's truncated output. You want to avoid a truncated output. It's very, very important. So always manage limitation. The other thing you also want to do is to avoid overloading. When you are using mixing multiple tasks in one prompt, it can, you know, cause an overloading and definitely give you error. Ensure context clarity is very important, and always use structured instruction efficiently or effectively, that way. So what are the best practices that you need to look out for? So what are the best practices? You need to be specific, define length, define format, define style. Not just that, you need to use constraint. List 3 pros and 3 cons. It's been specified. Then the other part is you need to test edge cases, like for example stress test prompt with unusual input. You need to test edge cases. That's very, very important. You need to do what? Then you need to leverage reasoning. This is very important. Explain your logic before answering. And there is a way to engage your prompt to actually do that. And we'll get there very soon. What are the mantras? The mantra under this: a prompt is only as strong as its weakest ambiguity. I love that. Can you hear that? It's as what? It's as strong as its weakest ambiguity. A prompt is only as strong as its weakest ambiguity. The moment any simple ambiguity is prompted, there is every tendency that there might be problem. All right, so let me come back. Let's try to let's move straight into exercise. Live prompt refinement exercise. We'll do all of that now. So let me bring